Great words there from Lucky Dube and Baban. I hope you enjoyed that number. Different colors just for you on Gold FM. Only the classic hits. Louise with you on the Center Show. Well, thank you so much for the sweet company. This is Alana Miles, one of my favorites, and Black Velvet for you. Hi there. Join me on the Center Show every weekday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. for the best sounds on Gold FM. Only the classic hits.
In this bulletin, Education Minister receives recommendations on scaling of exam marks. RBF remains optimistic about economic growth and calls for men to have early checks for prostate cancer. Good evening, I'm Jackie Spate and this is FBC News. The Ministry of Education has received 2 studies that were carried out on the scaling of external examinations in years 12 and 13. The studies were carried out by a review committee from the University of the South Pacific following concerns about the system. Some parents and students claim scaling of marks are unfair to students. Akusita Tale reports.
The team has reviewed the scaling of marks in detail and has made a few recommendations. Scaling of marks in external exams in years 12 and 13 should be stopped, as this help is the burden it puts on many students when they attain their final marks.
The results should be prepared based on the raw scores, which are the testimony of the actual educational achievement levels of each student in a given subject in the years 12 and 13 national examinations.
Other recommendations are to improve the poor picture revealed by low marks achieved by students over the years. Scaling is protecting the students, and the entire report should be made public to all stakeholders. However, this is very different to Dr. Chito Vanwalelai, who opposes the removal of scaling of marks. He says scaling recognizes the difficulty of subjects and doesn't discriminate those who attempted these subjects.
In the absence of any better alternative assessment, please, that's very important. The assumption here is that in the absence of any better alternative assessment system, there are very, very good reasons, legitimate reasons why scaling is necessary.
The Education Ministry will gather and compile this report and ensure adjustments are made to the scaling of marks. The Minister will table the report in Parliament. Akusita Tale, FBC News.
The Reserve Bank of Fiji remains optimistic about the economy, saying it remains robust this year following last year's strong growth of 4.6%. The RBF has revised this year's growth upwards to 4.2% from 3.8%. It says growth is expected to be broad-based, with the exception of declines in the fishing, aquaculture and mining and quarrying sectors. A growth of 4.4% is projected for 2015, revised up from a 2.4% baseline growth envisaged earlier. The RBF says the revision is largely due to the anticipated better performance in the construction and financial and insurance activities. Better performances are also expected in the transport and storage and accommodation and food service activities sectors. Police are still trying to identify the latest road fatality, who is an Itauke woman believed to be between the ages of 30 and 40. The victim died when the minivan she was traveling in hit the railing of a bridge at Fbctv Road in Lautoka yesterday. The van tumbled 3 times and the victim, who was sitting in the front, was thrown out of the vehicle. Assistant Commissioner of Police and Chief of Operations Officer Rusiate Tundravu is disappointed that despite numerous road awareness campaigns, some drivers continue to be reckless and have no regard for their passengers and themselves.
This accident yesterday could have been avoided if the driver did not overtake the vehicle at the bridge, on top of that bridge, and also if he's following the mileage kilometers that has been indicated on the roadside. It could have been avoided, and also the pedestrian, if she was wearing seatbelt, she could not have been thrown out of the vehicle and landed to the windscreen of another vehicle. So it's very unfortunate, but it has happened. So it's just so how people cannot adhere to the warnings that was issued.
3 other passengers in the minivan were treated for injuries and sent home. 40 people have lost their lives in road accidents this year. The Ministry of Health estimates that 40 to 60 males die from prostate cancer every year. This has prompted the Ministry of Health to increase its awareness and join the global campaign Movember. In Movember, men grow their mustaches or mows, raising awareness and much-needed funds for prostate cancer and associated charities during the month of November. Savara Tambor reports.
Early stages of the disease are asymptomatic. The symptoms that arise are due to the growing tumour within the gland.
By encouraging men to get involved, Movember aims to increase early cancer detection, diagnosis and effective treatments, and ultimately reduce the number of preventable deaths.
Prostate cancer per se, it's being a man and in an aging population, so the risk begins at the age of 50. And lifestyle plays a major role. Lifestyle in terms of westernization and diet. Prostate cancer is common in people who have red meat and high fatty foods, and in terms of western diet and modern urban centers, people are changing their lifestyle and the way they eat.
A specialist on prostate cancer, Dr. Kalodava uses every opportunity to highlight the issue. These civil servants taking the message to heart.
Found the presentation very interesting and very educational, and I think it will augur well with the work that we do here in regards to the prevention for the disease.
Most of us are really not aware of it. We've gone through past few years, and then when it was initiated this year, we tried to organize something so that we are actually aware of it, at least the age group that we have gone through.
A need to urinate frequently, especially at night, difficulty starting urination or holding back are some of the symptoms of the disease. Prostate cancer can be cured in its early stages. Sabera Tambua, FBC News.
Coming up, Northern Copra Miller looks at ways to get better returns for copra farmers in the north. Welcome back. This is FBC News. The Department of Land and Mineral Resources has placed a freeze on foreshore leases due to concerns raised about the sustainability of mangroves. This issue has been raised at 5 public consultations held around the country in the past 2 months. The Minister for Lands, Mereseni Vuniwanga, says foreshore leases will be implemented after they are internally vetted by the government.
There is a mangrove management plan that is there at the moment, and it's going internal vetting within government, and once that becomes policy, it will become part and parcel of every foreshore lease that we give out.
Vuniwanga says the initiative cannot be tackled by the ministry alone, as it needs interagencies coordination. Copra is still the largest commodity in Dhaka-Ndrove. Despite government reforms, the copra industry remains challenged. Shireen Lanta reports on Copra Millers Limited, who is now working towards getting better returns for farmers in the north.
Copra Millers Fiji Limited say even though government is there to protect the industry with price support fund announced last year, the operational costs associated with the industry is significant. Executive Chairman Ilisoni Thamba says they are now working on new business strategies to help farmers get better returns.
We commissioned a consultant from the UK. He's an expert in the coconut industry in the world. And as we suspected, as we anticipated, we have to move into virgin coconut oil. Virgin coconut oil, you have a high value for export. This is just purely for export market, and you better return for the farmers.
Tapping into the virgin coconut oil export market, Thamba says value adding will give farmers more of an incentive.
Say if we go into that, the equivalent of 1 ton of copra, that is about 6,000 nuts. If we buy that, sell that at about 25 cents a nut, we get about 1,300 $1,400, as against $780 you get from copra. And then that is straight out cash. With copra you get $780, and then you pay for your freight. For this one, if we buy it from Millgate, that is cash to the farmers.
The expert says this is the only way to revive the coconut industry in Fiji.
Labor cost too is very low, because you just have to husk the coconut and sell the whole nut, rather than collecting the nut. You cut it, extract it, and then it's exposed to bad weather or dry weather, and then the quality of copra that comes with it. This one is more cash for the farmers, less work, and that is the only way to revive the coconut industry in Fiji.
A feasibility study is currently being assessed by the government, and if green light is given, Tamba says this will be the key to restoring the copra industry. Sharin Lata, FBC News.
Miss Botswana Nature Inga is the new Miss World supermodel. She was crowned the winner of the pageant last night. The beautiful model was overwhelmed while receiving her award at the Pearl Resort in Pacific Harbour. Inga says she is glad to make her country proud.
I feel so overwhelmed. I actually feel like I'm dreaming. I'm going to wake up tomorrow and it'll be the day of the competition.
This is the 4th consecutive year the event has been held in Fiji. One of the country's leading garment manufacturers, Mark I Apparel Limited, has grown from strength to strength in its 25 years of operation. This year, the company's contribution to the economy was acknowledged when it scooped the Prime Minister's Export of the Year award. In our successful Fijian segment tonight, Akosita Tale speaks with Mark Hallaby, the man behind the business.
If you're a big Australian National Rugby League fan and ever wondered where their jerseys are made, they're made right here in this factory. Mark I Apparel is one of the leading and largest manufacturer of quality apparel in Fiji and the region. It employs more than 500 Fijians. Located in the Kalambu Industrial Zone in Asinu, Mark I Apparel is making headwaves with its contributions to the country's exports.
We originally had to leave Australia in the late 80s because of the Australian government's policy of not protecting our industry, the textile clothing and footwear industry. We realised there was no hope in remaining there, and as we've seen now, there's not much left of the industry in Australia.
Moving to Fiji has been one of the best decisions the Hallaby family has made.
Not many came to Fiji. The bulk went to China, and since then it's gone to Bangladesh with the larger amounts of garments. But what Fiji offered over the last 25 years to my customers, and they all have had programs out of China and Bangladesh, is that we make things fairly quickly, we accept small runs, and our quality is comparable to what they were getting out of Southeast Asia.
The company has weathered the storm that hit the garment industry in Fiji, from the days in 1997 when garments were the #1 export and employed 20,000+ Fijians, to today when it employs about 15,000 people, mostly women. The $12 million export company has 3 divisions making corporate wear, fashion and sports clothing.
We do about 2,000 garments a day is our target, 2,000 garments a day we export, and we're 99.9% exports. We rarely sell anything locally because we're so full of making our export market that we have really little opportunity to sell locally.
This is also the very same factory that manufactures the Marvel superhero Australian Football League and the National Rugby League jerseys in Australia.
The kick last week with plenty of good results, and that's where they...
Wearing a South Sydney jersey made at Mark I in Fiji and scoring and then winning the grand final. I mean, that's fantastic. That's what I'd like to see, that our name's up there, that he's a Fijian wearing a Fiji-made product in an international grand final and winning it. That's the best.
Halaby adds this is a great time for both Fijians and foreigners to set up business in Fiji, especially in the garment industry, as this is expected to boom in the next 5 to 10 years.
We have a pragmatic, no-nonsense government that understands the need for business success, exports. They are prepared to assist us, or as the Prime Minister said, his job is to get the policies right and get out of the way. And that's what we know is possible for us to do.
A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way and shows the way, just like Captain America.
Mark 1 exports to Australia, New Zealand and the United Kingdom. Over the years, it has received 16 export awards, making it one of the most successful companies. Akusita Talei, FBC News.
Coming up in sports news, FIBA Oceania out to improve the standard of basketball in the Pacific region. And Man United notches another win, defeating Hull City 3-0 at Old Trafford. Welcome back. This is FBC Sports. FIBA Oceania plans to improve the standard of basketball in the Pacific region. The association aims to raise the profile of the sport in the next 5 years. Josephina Vula has the details.
FIBA Oceania will be officiating a course alongside the Under-19 Championships to license more basketball referees in the Pacific region. Secretary General David Croker says there is a need for more qualified umpires in order for the sport to grow.
We have 8 candidates trying to achieve an international basketball referee licence. Currently we only have 19 here in the Pacific, and only 4 of those sit outside of Australia and New Zealand.
Croker confirms that global head of referees Carl Ergerbrand will be running the course. Croker adds they will also run a coaching clinic during the tournament for the local coaches.
We have 8 coaches coming to the program, and it's a full-day program. They'll do some classroom work, they'll go down to the games, they'll watch the games play, they'll do activities around how to scout opposition, how they would coach a particular game. There's a whole lot of mentoring work which also goes on to support these coaches.
Basketball Fiji President Ioane Naiwalurua says the initiative shown by FIBA is an advantage to the local basketball association and players.
It's very important, this strong strategic partnership that we have with our mother headquarters or our main headquarters, which is FIBA Oceania. Coach, all the best there.
2 other coaching clinics will also be run in the lead up to the start of the competition tomorrow. One clinic will be for the general public starting today, and the other for the Pacific Games head coaches to be held tomorrow. Josephina Vula, FBC Sports.
It will be an Australia versus New Zealand final in the Pacific Cup football competition. AFFA All-Stars will meet New Zealand All-Stars in the grand final in Sydney, Australia. AFFA beat Suva Fiji 1-0 in the semi-final this afternoon. The side has players like Malakai Tiwa, Shivan Swami, Alvin Singh, Samuela Kautonga and Chone Ralulu. In the first semi-final, New Zealand All-Stars beat the Sydney AFFA team 2-1. The Kiwis have the likes of Fiji Under-20 rep Shwad Khan, Apisai Smith, Ravinesh Narayan and Valerio Nawalu. It is coached by former national rep Josiah Mbukalindi. Ba is the new champion of the Fiji FA Women's Inter-Districts Championships. They defeated Lambasa 2-1 in the final today. In the semi-finals early in the day, Lambasa thrashed Nandi 5-0 and Ba defeated Lautoka 1-0. The tournament was held at Govind Park in Ba. Once again, England have dismantled the Australian pack after winning the match last night 26-17. The Wallabies' spring tour of Europe ended with a thud, losing to England, and the defeat was made harder to swallow following an absolute scrum annihilation by the hosts. Meanwhile, in the other match, Wales claimed only their second ever win over South Africa 12-6 with a display of guts and cool control in Cardiff last night. Some showers were experienced over the interior and eastern parts of the larger islands. Nadi received 3 millimeters of rain, while Suva received 19 millimeters overnight. Fine weather apart from isolated afternoon or evening showers prevailed elsewhere. An east to southeast wind flow prevails over much of the southwest Pacific. All the centres recorded maximum temperatures in the 30s today. Bai and Lambasa topped at 32 degrees. Tomorrow's forecast, some showers over the interior and eastern parts of the larger islands, fine apart from isolated afternoon or evening showers elsewhere. Expect some showers over the interior and eastern parts of the larger islands on Tuesday, afternoon or evening showers elsewhere. The main points again. The Education Ministry has received 2 reports detailing the pros and cons of scaling marks in the external exams of years 12 and 13. The Reserve Bank of Fiji remains optimistic about the economy, saying it remains robust this year following last year's strong growth of 4.6%. And police are still trying to identify the latest road fatality, who is an Ithauke woman believed to be between the ages of 30 and 40. To our poll question for this week, we've been asking, are you satisfied with the 2015 national budget? Visit our FBC website www.fbc.com.fj to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply hashtag FBC News. You can also find us on YouTube, Fbctv 2011. That's our bulletin for today. Join the news team again tomorrow. Till tomorrow, good evening.
It's now 6 o'clock right here on Big Breakfast, Today FM, today's hit music.
Hey, I'm Pauline.
And I'm Alan. Tune in to The Breakfast Show on Today FM with Pauline and I every weekday morning.
From 6 a.m. to 9 a.m.
Right here on Today FM, today's hit music.
Today FM, today's hit music.